Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, wrestling fans and sports entertainment fans, welcome to the No Shave Man Cave. Woo! I'm Ellie Jair.
I am Jay Tilly. Man, it's been
Dude,
a while since you said that.
what is it? A month of Sundays?
Yeah.
Last time we talked, Judgment Day were tag team champions. Oh, wait. Yeah,
We can't
dude.
do it in Raw terms. Roman Reigns was 08. He's still not
Oh
on
wait.
TV. Cody and Jay 08.
Orange Cassidy was international champ. Oh wait.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Man.
I mean,
Yeah.
life gets involved sometimes. So we had some personal
Yeah.
stuff going on. So we apologize to kind of dropping out of view for a while, but we are back. We are back on a schedule. Hopefully continuing this. So we have what? I think I pulled it up. The last show we did was the 3rd of October. So yeah, we've missed about
Man.
20 days. And
Whew.
unfortunately, we missed our 22nd episode, which sucks, but we'll make up for it. Maybe we'll do an extra a bonus one next month or something. So
There you go.
we'll make up
Yeah.
for it for
Hell
sure.
yeah. Hey, to our brothers and sisters in arms, so proud of what you do for this great country, what you've done, for your family's legacy. If you're a legacy or a academy grad, whoever it is, anyone in between, our privates to generals, thank you so much for what you do for this country. And, when you're done with your service, please, please make sure that you get your just due. VA.gov, talk to your separations teams and your transition teams and your onward and upwards. And, some gave all gave some. And, shout out to the shout out. And, yeah, we definitely owe an extra 22 show, and dude, it is legit awesome to see you. And to the fam who may not know, Jay Tilly and I used to see each other every single day. We worked shoulder to shoulder, and now we talk on the phone nearly every day on our transit to and from work. And awesome to see, albeit on the video. And man, the last near month of professional wrestling has been nothing short, dare I say, entertaining on so many levels, all the way up into some of the most recent news here today, yesterday, and on Sunday. So a lot going on, dude.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I don't feel that way. I feel like wrestling's been kind of on a lull for me lately.
What?
I
Okay.
said it right before we came on the air. Like I've had it on, and it's been on, but I've just kind of been, like nothing has been blow away, amazing story. I mean, even the stuff that last time we talked, I loved the Adam Cole MJF stuff,
Yeah.
and I am hating these new vignettes. I'm just like, ugh. I do like the stuff they're teasing with MJF right now, like Kenny Omega, the Juice match. Like, there's some good stuff set up. Um, but as far as like keeping me engaged and making me desire or want to watch all 5 hours if you count Rampage of AEW,
Yeah.
and what is it, 3, 4, 5 hours of WWE, I'm having a hard time doing that. I'm actually more excited and want to talk about some of the other stuff going on right now,
Yeah.
like TNA coming back. Yes, I know they've been impacted,
Yeah.
but I'm kind of jazzed up that TNA is coming back. I feel like they're rejuvenating
Yeah.
their product. And then I also want to get your buy-in or what you think about NWA signing on with CW now, so they will have a TV rights deal.
Yeah.
So two big news coming out of things we don't usually talk about. Like we do, we'll bring it up and talk about it, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like, all right, like that's
Yeah.
cool.
Like, you growing up, Southeast United States, you had access to Georgia Championship Wrestling, Mid Atlantic, NWA, to see where studio wrestling, as Georgia Championship Wrestling, and then you transitioned into Mid Atlantic, which became NWA, which became WCW, and the larger stadium and the the birth and growth of Ric Flair and the 10 pounds of gold, and to hear that the NWA has signed a deal. And, TNA Impact on Access, okay, fine. They've got a TV deal, good on them. But dude, this is really, really cool. And if NWA could, and not to be, I don't dare I say rude, to what Corrigan and his vision is, because it's his company, it's his vision, whatever. But dude, you got to get out of the 500 seater. Um, you don't even have to mic up the ring because you're in this tiny little studio that you're recording in. Let let's expand it a little bit, just like what
Yeah.
TNA is getting ready to do. They have been filling 2,500 to 3,000, 3,500 little um, amphitheaters and little, events, and they sold out Bound for Glory recently, and it was just under 2,700 seats. They sold it out in minutes, and like I'm a huge Impact TNA fan. I really, even though I don't know and understand some of what the wrestling is on NWA, I dig it because it's wrestling, and it it keeps the palate
Yeah.
enjoying whatever program it is, and then you bounce around. Triple A, CMLL just signed a
With
deal. They're
AEW.
getting
Yep.
ready to go come across the pond. New Japan, awesome. And I'm sure I'm missing, some of the other ones, but yeah, I I feel you with AEW. I don't know. I don't know, man. Sometimes I feel like they're just like, all right, we killed it. Um, let's heal everybody up, and we'll get back to everybody later. Well, wait a minute,
And
like I
part
don't
of it
know.
is like I don't know how much storytelling planning they had with CM Punk involved. So I'm wondering how much, like, after that incident, they
Mm,
had to scramble the books. Then Adam
yeah, that's
Cole's
true.
injury, so that
Oh,
so they've got hit with a couple things this month, and at the end of last
FTR
month,
getting hurt.
FTR getting hurt. So they've got
That's got to be
hit with
big.
some things, and I'm assuming that might be what's causing them to scramble a little.
I
But
didn't even
yeah, I
think about
definitely
that.
feel it.
Wow.
It just like Young Bucks haven't been on TV. We Hangman hasn't been on TV. I do love the Hangman Swerve stuff. That's good stuff. But
Swerve is
I,
sick, man.
yeah, I'm just wondering
Sick.
if that is part of the issue, is the fact that they, um, had all these three, Tony Khan has said he plans 4 years out. Well, he didn't know there was going to be a fist fight at All In and he was going to have to fire a CM Punk. Jungle Boy's off TV. Adam Cole gets hurt, which I'm sure that storyline was going to go do something before he
Jeez, yeah.
blew his ankle out. Moxley gets hurt. So Moxley was out for a few weeks. And I'm wondering how much was scrambling, and now maybe that Moxley's back, and House of Black was out hurt. Malachi hurt his back, so he was out for a little bit.
Mm,
So, it's like I wonder how much all that contributed to everything going on. So
yeah.
hopefully we'll get back into the groove. I also know that wrestling in general, usually from October through December, is kind of gets in this lull because you're running in October, which is football season's going on. You run into November and December, and you got all the holidays. And I tend to see where it kind of. I mean, I still watch it. I've had every show
Yeah.
on, um, but I am excited about NWA. I think that's going to be fantastic, and
Yeah.
I would, you say move them out of the 500 person arena. I don't know that I would do that right away. Like
Really?
they sold the TV rights. Well, they sold the TV rights based on the product they have. So
Okay.
I would leave it that way because
It's
kind
working.
of look at
Yeah,
what happened
that's a
with
good point.
AEW, right? Yeah, it's working. And then AEW went and hey, we're going to go do 15,000 people arenas, and they're not filling them. They're filling about
Yeah.
2,500 of them. So I would hate to see something like that happen to NWA,
Yeah.
where they're like, all right, well, we're going to go fill a 10,000. No, you're going to get 800 people there. So let them build their fan base first. Then they
Yeah.
can start exploring out a little, I think.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. Do you think if I'm trying to like wrap my head around, because you mentioned like seating and the you know UI, like the experience of us, whether we're in Daly's place or when we went to Chicago or wherever it is that we're going to sit down and watch wrestling. So you hear, Sting announces he's got his retirement match and he's going to do it um, at Full Gear. And you're like, oh man, Sting, remember when he was, you know, um, Blade Runner Sting and he was
Mhm.
with, as he transitioned from Dingo Warrior and all this other stuff to become the Ultimate
The
Warrior. And
surfer
now
one,
here
and
he
then
is.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, and now here he is 30, what is it? 37 years or something like that. He's walking away. You're just like, "Oh my goodness," all these reports. So you're like, "Well, shit, man, if no one else is going to AEW, I'm not going to go to an event if I can just watch it on TV and they'll cut all the seating stuff out." I really hope that that isn't the case because you and I have gone to some shows and I watched it with my WWE brain one time, and then I went and you were basically like my play-by-play guy, and I really enjoyed it significantly more. And I don't want the wrestling fan to get the perception that AEW is a lesser of a product because it's a it's still wrestling. It's just produced differently, it's written differently and for a specific reason because that fan, us as a fan, we can't eat Italian food all the time. We can't eat cheeseburger and fries all the time. We have to have a little bit of everything. And that's exactly what AEW gives you and how they can give you such like two cool different products on Wednesday with Dynamite and then Collision on Saturday and the production and I just man, I don't want anyone to lose that digging AEW because it's an awesome
yeah.
product. Um
And by
so
no
yeah,
means do
shit.
I think they're in any kind of trouble either. Like, I'm not
No.
saying that, "Oh, no, they're," I mean, all rumors have it they're about to sign a $1 billion TV rights deal, so
Billion with a B.
right,
Oh my
so,
god.
it's just I think Tony
Shoot.
Khan may have jumped the gun in thinking he could run these bigger arenas. I think they need
Okay.
to go back to the, 5,000 seat arenas right now,
Yeah.
and then save the big ones for when you do a pay-per-view, when you do something, or maybe even like only the 4 pay-per-views a month, like Forbidden Door and All In and All Out. You do those at big events and make them a big deal, and then you draw the people to them. But yeah,
Yeah.
again, I don't think in any reasonable person's mind you can say they're in trouble. I just
Yeah.
think they overestimated what I think they were going to be able to draw into the buildings. And some of
Yeah.
that's probably part of the product. I mean, when it was the hottest as it was straight out of the pandemic, so everybody wanted to go out anyway. It
Yeah.
was the ranking system was there. They were a lot different than WWE, and now they've kind of slipped into a little more WWE style, so it's not as much of an
But yeah.
alternative like it was. But
Do you think that, so they've hired and brought on a lot of WWE people. Um, how about this? So NXT has the Capital Wrestling or the, Performance Center that they record at. What if AEW were to do their weekly tapings at Daly's Place? Do you think the like greater Jacksonville area would be able to give 3 to 5,000 a week? Is that do you think that's a little bit much? And all this to say, maybe they get off the road and when they go on the road, it's a little more special because they're saturating Chicago.
mhm.
They're saturating, the DC Northeast tri-state area.
Texas.
Um, yeah, they spend a lot of time in Texas, and you know, I don't know, I don't know, it's an awesome product. I think with their relationships with other wrestling organizations, they're they're like the freaking awesome alternative because now they've got a working relationship with CMLL, New Japan,
Triple A.
on and again, off again with and AAA. Yeah, I
Yep.
did. That's a great one. And then on again, off again with Impact slash TNA. So yeah, I just man, it's
Well,
yeah,
eh,
it's a great world we're in though. I mean, it's a tough problem to have, but
well, and
it's
the other
awesome.
thing for the AEW haters out there, if you don't think they've had an impact in wrestling, I guarantee you WWE would not have changed the way it has. I
Oh, hell
also
yeah.
can guarantee you that NWA would not be getting a TV rights deal because I guarantee you,
Mhm.
if a good salesman's going in, like, well, look what these numbers are pulling for AEW,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't be surprised if TNA, part of the new rebranding, if they're not in talks for a TV deal somewhere. So,
Man, that would be so awesome.
I mean, and then New
Dare I
Japan's
say
thrown.
Lucha Underground comes back?
Let's all hope. I would be fantastic.
Shameless.
But
Shameless.
you look at that's so realistically, we could have four really decent television, wrestling products, and that's not
Yeah, that's
bad. Like,
good.
that's a good thing. And I
Yeah. I
think, you
yeah.
say Lucha Underground. I have I look at not TNA, Impact that way, or not Impact. I just messed them all. NWA that way. I feel like NWA is kind of like the Lucha Underground right now. The small
Yeah.
arena, the very goofy
Little grungy. Yeah.
storyline, and I kind of see that, and I'm okay with that. Like, I enjoy watching
Yeah.
NWA. And I mean, I'll
Yeah.
tell you right now, as soon as they announce their schedule, I'm putting it on my DVR. I'll be watching it. So
Yeah.
I'm watching Women of Wrestling on CW right now. It's really goofy and
Really?
kind of like out there.
Yeah.
But some of the matches, I'm like, oh, this is pretty damn good. So yeah,
That's
I've
pretty
started
cool.
watching that.
Yeah.
So I just think
I
the
hope
go ahead.
no, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, I just think
Yeah,
the
I was
more
gonna
options.
say,
Go, you go.
damn it. All right, I'm in. I was we talk about women's wrestling, we talk about different TV deals. I'm glad you brought it back into perspective because here I am saying, I wish NWA would blah blah blah. Okay, so you already have these other wrestling products that are filling that niche. Now you want me to change NWA back into that niche that's already filled. So I think that's a great point by you that every wrestling fan needs that itch scratched, whether it be, yeah, I like my MMA. Okay, I do or don't like Bellator. I do or don't like UFC. It's the same thing. And that's a great point. And um, Corrigan does some funky stuff. He went to Mexico and was doing all these concerts and craziness with his wrestlers. But he parlayed it into a really nice YouTube deal, which now has given him a TV deal. And I'm not going to bash on the product. I'm going to book it. I'm going to watch it,
Yep.
and absolutely dig talking about it when we get to whenever we get together and just add it to our repertoire of, hey, what's your show of the week, how many beards are you giving it? And yes, I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
I love that damn belt. That might be my next title.
The big gold. Yeah.
Mm,
Yep. It's funny when they brought that back, I started going, huh, they're making some interesting changes here. And then the TV deal announcement came out. I'm like, ah, okay, okay, that's cool. But
mhm.
yeah, that big gold, that's a nice belt. Absolutely
Yeah.
one of my favorites. And you said as a wrestling fan, and I think that's the key is not a initials fan, a wrestling fan. And
Yeah.
we people on Twitter and all that like, oh, you guys just hate W. No, I don't hate WWE. I don't love.
Yeah.
Well, I am a wrestling fan. I don't care what the initials are. I watch it. I watch everything from New
Mhm.
Japan to GCW to you know, uh, I just watched the Netflix thing about um, the developmental thing with Al Snow. It's like
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, I'm drawing a blank on
OVW.
it. Yeah, yeah, OVW.
Yeah, yeah.
To now I'm watching WoW because of OVW. I watched that and I'm like, all right, I really like this character Holly. Like, I want to follow this more. And here she is on
Yeah.
showing up on on Collision this week too. So or
Oh,
Rampage.
that's cool.
She was on one of the AEW shows against
Yeah.
Sky Blue. I think it might have been Collision, but it was like, all right, cool. And that's what got me into WoW. I'm like, all right, I want to watch this WoW because they talked about it.
Yeah.
It's in my streaming services that I watch every night, and I watch New Japan and I watch DDT, and so it's
Oh, I love DDT.
oh DDT's
Golly.
so like goofy, crazy, fun wrestling though.
Sheesh. Yeah,
But
man.
so more options are definitely not a bad thing, and not only that, it
Yeah.
opens up the talks about people leaving in contract switches. Because I think last time we talked, Adam Copeland was still in the WWE. So,
Dude, that's like he was just having his match in his hometown with Sheamus, and now Edge is Adam Copeland, and he went from ENC
yeah.
to Uncle Jay, and Uncle Jay gave him the old
F you.
"fu." You're like, what?
Yeah.
So it's shoosh,
Jade over
man.
in WWE now making her appearances, which I think is good. I think she's
Yeah,
gonna fit in that system very well.
yeah,
So now that you've got, NWA getting a TV deal, which means he'll be able to pay wrestlers more, which means he could send those lucrative contracts out. And
yeah,
TNA the same thing. And the NWA, Billy Corgan even put out a thing about CM Punk. Like, hey, I can't pay you what you want, but if you want to come have fun, bring it. Can you imagine if he rolled up into
yeah,
NWA?
dude.
The 500 people would be no issue. Like they'd be
Yeah,
hitting those thousands easily. And
yeah,
cool. Like do it. Like that's the fun stuff. That's the fun part about having. I mean, think about 4 or 5 years ago when it was just WWE. We weren't talking about who could jump
no,
where. We weren't talking about NWA as much. And those of us that were in our dark closets, wrestling nerds, were watching New Japan and some of this other stuff, but it wasn't common knowledge. And to an extent, I don't know that it still is. I think there's still a lot of people who are WWE is the only thing there is to watch. I don't care what you say, blah blah
yeah,
blah. But I think if they are true wrestling fans and open their eyes up, there's so much out there. I even enjoy GCW occasionally. I know for you it
yeah,
might be a little rough sometimes, but I enjoy the death match, the over the top, like
yeah,
bring it. Like I'll watch that all day
yeah,
long. And Bloodsport with Josh Barnett and all those. So there's something out there for everybody. You
hell
got to
yeah,
get away from this. Well, WWE is better. It is at some things, but AEW is better
yeah,
at some things. As I watch TNA, there's some things they do pretty well. Like I'm like they're better
yeah.
at some things. So I think that's the biggest
Their
point.
women's division
Oh,
is
it's
awesome.
fantastic.
AEW, just the environment and
Oh, I lost your audio.
sort of set the bar, and you know all in, that their production was much different than probably what they would have done. I love their production now, like
Yeah,
that whole entrance with AEW and the corridor that the talent walked, just
yeah, it was
so
so nice looking.
cool.
Yeah,
Man, just everybody, and like we're talking about the beauty of professional wrestling, like whether you're watching some indie wrestling in your tri-state area, whatever, or you're watching like no shit WWE or AEW. Um, there's so much there, and to cut yourself off just for like whatever reason you're gonna throw out, like you're really selling yourself short on some of these products. And I'm a big belt nerd, and just like the level of detail that goes into some of the titles, the New Japan World title, just freaking awesome. The AEW International title, really really cool. The WWE has some cool concept titles. They're getting ready to roll out new tag team titles. And then just the scale and scope of the characters that they're making with the John Cena's coming back. I can only imagine, dude, what Jade Cargill with the machine behind her,
oh man.
that look. I can't remember who it was that said the airport test. um Shit, I can't remember
Was it Jim
who it
Ross?
was.
Talking
It
about
might have
Vince
been Jim
McMahon.
Ross.
Yeah, Vince
Yeah,
McMahon
and
always
you're
said the airport test.
and the airport test is if you're walking through the airport, are you going to go completely unnoticed? You're just going to go to your gate and board with group 4 or whatever? Or are you going to walk through the airport and people go, damn, because Jade Cargill is that damn. Her stature, her look, the way she carries herself, like Charlotte, the ever professional champion. Man, we are in a really, really cool space in wrestling for so many different reasons. Like you said, every organization has its pros and cons, but it's so much fun being a wrestling fan right now. And you know, haters can hate and just watch it all, love what you love, buy whatever t-shirts you want, and but don't shut off one company over another.
Right.
You
Just
know,
yeah,
what's
yeah. I mean, it's yeah. I agree. Don't need to say much more about it. Like
yeah,
it's escapism at its best, and
yeah, that's a good one.
if you're naive enough to go, I'm not watching anything else, then that's fine. Don't. I
Yeah,
understand, but you're missing out because there's some really good stuff out there.
yeah,
We talked about the lull
yeah.
that like I said, I've been feeling it, but I've been turning on old Ring of Honor stuff and PWG and watching that stuff because right now, like the current product, I'm like, eh. So I'm like, well, let me watch some of this old school stuff, and then you see like Danielson and Andrade on Collision, and I'm like,
Oh my
that's
god.
old school, like that's good stuff, and the drooling prospect of House of Black versus Blackpool Combat Club. I'm in for that. Didn't understand the FTR part of it, but whatever. But
Yeah,
I'm in for that. And then, like I said, the Omega MJF teases. I'm like, all right, let's go. Like that's a match that they've both been on the roster, never interacted.
that's crazy.
What? Like, let's. Why are we not
Yeah.
doing this? So yeah,
Wow.
it's a time. And then again, on the WWE side, you got Jade Cargill coming in. So who's she going to go after? Bianca Belair just made her return, and that was one of my
Yeah.
picks for her first program. We see her interact with Charlotte and Becky already. I will say they need to stop that now. Like they've shown her on all 3 programs, NXT. Now let her cool off a little until you're ready to
Yeah.
make her debut, whether it's going to be at Rumble or what. Just take a breath. We don't need to see her every week talking to another person backstage. Let her go get her training in, and then just boom, bring her out and
Yeah.
go crazy. So
Yeah, that'll be a good one when she whatever product she shows up on, it's gonna be it's gonna be something. And the fact that she's still Jade Cargill says a lot.
yep,
They didn't repackage her like Taya Valkyrie when she came out. And like if I were the WWE, I would have kept Taya Valkyrie as Taya Valkyrie because that's what wrestling fans knew her as, not Monet or whatever it was. And
yeah.
then Monet goes off. Sasha Banks goes off and becomes Monet. And yeah, I'm super excited. How that program is going to go.
You know what I would
We've
do with
got
Jade?
Crown Jewel. What's that?
You know what I would do with Jade? Is I wouldn't let her pick I would not have her on a show yet. I'd bring her out in the Rumble, have her win the Rumble, and then basically whatever champion she goes after, that's what show she'll end up being on. Like, don't even like put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think she's going main roster. Now, if you're gonna put her in NXT, probably not. You'll have her show up in
Mm-hmm.
NXT. I think she's going main roster. I think she wins the Rumble and she challenges either Rhea or Io Sky or whoever's got the title at the time, and that's your program for
Yeah.
WrestleMania. Rhea and Jade,
Mm.
sign me up for that one, man. Whew.
Man, that's a good one.
But
Man, that would be main event
oh, absolutely.
WrestleMania. Wow.
But then
Damn, that's a
then
good
we run
one.
into the problem of who loses, right? Like, do you?
Yeah.
So I almost think she'll probably come out and work somebody like Io Sky. I could see that because then she could beat her, and not to diminish Io Sky, but
Yeah.
I know WWE thinking, and I don't see them. I
Yeah.
don't see her beating Charlotte uh, on her first go. I don't see her beating Rhea. You know what? Maybe she will show up at NXT and she'll take it from Becky. Maybe that's the whole reason they put the title on Becky is, and that's why she's building the title up by defending it all the time. And then boom, you're gonna have Jade take it from her on whatever NXT pay per view. That'd be a way to go too.
Yeah, it'll be. So does she win the Royal Rumble, then show up with the Royal Rumble, win the NXT title, or she does some vignettes, or she shows up strategically, and then Becky Lynch is out during a NXT pay per view. She's in the ring. Oh, the man has come to town, and then Cargill comes out, hits her with the big boot, body slam, 1, 2, 3, winner and new NXT Women's Champion Jade Cargill. Like, yeah, and
So
Io Sky, I think she's doing a lot of really good stuff with the title, but oddly enough, I think the Damage Control storyline is getting stronger and sort of helping Io Sky along the way, which eventually will turn into Damage Control will implode. Becky will win the title and she'll lose it at WrestleMania to whoever.
Bailey, you mean
What I
Bailey
say?
won the top? You said Becky.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Bailey. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Yeah, Bailey would win the title, lose it at WrestleMania to whoever,
So
Tiffany Stratton or something.
on that
So
thought, I don't think you give Jade the Royal Rumble win if you have her go after NXT title. I think the Royal Rumble winner, ideally, if you're thinking wrestlers are, as a real sport, and
mhm,
not to bash NXT, but NXT is the minor leagues compared to, you know, Raw, which is the Raw and SmackDown, the major league. So
yeah,
if you were a wrestler and won the Royal Rumble, why would you go to the minor league championship? So that's the way I
mm,
think of it. Now, if WWE is trying to push it as not that way, then fine.
right,
Then yes, you can see. I just don't see him. Now that Vince McMahon's not in charge, maybe they're gonna make
yeah,
it a competitive all around brand. But you'll watch it, it's still kind of goofy and it's still developmental, very much so. Even
right.
though they pushed everybody they could on it to beat the AEW in the Wednesday or the Tuesday War, but
The One Night War.
the One Night War, which I mean,
Yeah,
even me as an AEW fan knew we weren't going to win that. Come on now,
yeah,
but I
and
just think
a
if
lot of
you
that is geared toward future TV deals,
right,
and that's why the sale went through Endeavor. Goddamn TKO, the stock. Come on, people, keep trading. I've been taking it a little bit here, but yeah, I think there's a lot to be said, um, and if we can, yeah, man, I just don't want to typecast one brand, and with Vince gone, Nick Khan and Triple H say NXT is now the third brand, and they try and elevate it like they did the black and gold. Dude.
they could.
Oh man, I
They
don't
could do
know.
that, and I'd be down for it because I like the black and gold era, most of it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
kind of what AEW, what it was like the alternate that we were looking for, and it was right in front of
Right.
our faces.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's crazy.
but yeah, we'll see. I'm curious how it's all going to roll out. Dying to see what happens with Jade, and I think this Adam Copeland angle has been pretty good. Let us know what
Yeah.
you think in the comments below. Hey, I always forget to do that. But no, seriously, like it's been great to be back. I really appreciate everybody who's stuck with us. I know we took a hiatus, but we are back. You know, when it's time to tell what happened, we'll tell what happened. But until then, you're going to be in suspense. But
Bum, bum, bum.
yeah, we're back Tuesdays and Thursdays. He says with a question mark.
Like a question mark.
We should be recording Tuesdays and Thursdays, hopefully live here on YouTube and Rumble. Follow us on all your social medias, No Shave Man Cave. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the little notification button where you're trying to grow YouTube and make it a thing. If you've noticed, I started putting out some trivia trivia questions. That was a show we had talked about working on, but again, the hiatus. So I was like, well, I'm going to start putting them out as little shorts. So check them
Very
out.
cool.
We'll be dropping. I've got quite a few more, so we're going to start dropping those on a more frequent basis. Check it out. We appreciate those of you that have subscribed and are watching. And let's see. I think I did all the plugs. If you're listening to the audio version, thank you. It's wherever you get your podcast from. Hosted by Acast, and we appreciate everybody. Apple, iTunes, Google Podcast, I think, is going away, but for now, you can listen to us there. Spotify and all those other places you get your podcast from. We appreciate it. Again, give us those 5-star reviews. Makes us feel warm and fuzzy in our tum-tums. And it's been a while, but do you remember how to take us out?
Bump and feed, bump and feed. Yes, sir. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Thank you so much to the Worldwide Podcast Network. Thank you. 2 days in a row, we've gotten that vote up. And over the last 7 days, we've gotten 4 vote up. So keep hitting us up on that podcast network.
Top
Means
20.
so much. And super cool. Thank you to that entire team over there. Jay Tilly, you're the man. I don't think everybody knows or anyone knows the grind that my man's been on. And super cool to be back here in the No Shade Man Cave. Thank you so much for joining us here. To our brothers and sisters in arms, keep doing what you're doing. We love you, and get your ass home safe. Until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you on the floor.